Hey guys, JJ here, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'll be doing something a little different. I actually wanted to discuss some things that got me excited over the past week. For those who don't know, we had some Game Fest State of Play, Nintendo Direct, and the Xbox Showcase. All huge events and a lot of great announcements. And I just really enjoyed those so much that I really wanted to make a video on it. So in today's video, I picked out 5 games that I thought were the most interesting or got me the most excited, and I'm going to talk about those. So without further ado, let's get into that. Before we do though, if you are a fan of these type of discussions, if you find that by the end of the video you really enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to see more like this. I plan to make more videos just like this in the future, where we discuss games and other topics like movies and so on. So if that sounds interesting to you, and like I said, hit the subscribe button. Anyways, let's actually get into this. Okay, so the first game I want to talk about here is The Last Ronin. Just because, it was a really short trailer and maybe the biggest surprise out of the games I'm going to talk about here today. Now, The Last Ronin is a game I was anticipating for a while, until pretty recently, because I believed that the game was cancelled or discontinued or something, because we didn't hear any news about it for 2 years straight, and the news we did hear wasn't particularly good. It was about like the developers working on the game having to restructure and massive layoffs and all of that. So I was very concerned. But it turns out that while the original game that was being worked on in those 2 years might have been cancelled, it has now been put in the hands of some new capable developers. And those developers are, of course, Platinum Games. Now, I am so excited for this news. Initially, I was already anticipating this game just because I really love the Last Ronin story. I'm a huge Ninja Turtle fan and grew up loving that series ever since I was a little kid. And it had just been a while since we got a major Ninja Turtle game. We did get Shredder's Revenge a couple of years back, and while that game was really good, I still think it didn't really scratch that itch of like a major AAA title, because it wasn't. It was a good game, yeah, it was a great game, but not really what I was looking for at the time. This seems like something more up my alley. At least I hope so. I haven't seen any gameplay yet, but just knowing Platinum Games, I have a really good feeling about this. So yeah, this is the game I want to talk about first. It's just, not much to really talk about. Like I said, it's a short trailer. But what I do get from this trailer is the tone is definitely kept here. Platinum Games is a studio that has worked on a lot of great games, a lot of action games. But action games that have a big emphasis on storytelling, and also a lot of darker tones and a lot of mature themes. Look at Nier Automata, look at Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, just to name a couple. So I honestly, from the time I heard that there was a Ninja Turtle game in development, I was hoping it was Platinum Games. And while I may have to wait a bit longer to see this game come out, because of this, because of them taking on this project fairly recently, I think it might have been maybe just about a year in development now, maybe. Not too sure on that, but yeah, it's a pretty new game in terms of development. So we will have a bit of a wait to go, but I trust Platinum Games, and I hope that they bring their A game here, their A team, and they really lock in, because this I think has the potential to be the best Ninja Turtle game. And I don't think that will be a difficult thing to do, because we haven't had a lot of major games over the years. The best titles come to like the older classic games, because I think, at least in the past couple decades, they haven't really had a large investment for the Turtles when it comes to the games. They always have big movies, but when it comes to the games, they're either fun little games, or games that have ambition but don't get fully realized because of budget, or because of rushing it out to meet a deadline. I will say Platinum Games has worked on this franchise before. We had Mutants in Manhattan, which I actually still have, and I really like that game. I thought it was a fun time, and I also think it's the closest we've had to like a major Ninja Turtle experience, something that could actually give us, that almost comic book brought to life experience, but in the in-game form. There are still problems with it. It is not perfect. It is a little short, but the content that is there, I do enjoy coming back to. So, I hope that this game can be like that, but on a much bigger scale with a lot more polish and, yeah, a lot of budget, a lot of passion put into it. And I really believe that it will be there. So, yeah, really looking forward to this game, hoping for the best. And with that being said, let me jump into our next game. Okay, so continuing off of the Summer Game Fest announcements, we had Virtua Fighter 6. That is a game that, just like Ronin, I was anticipating for a while because similarly, it was also, I want to say, announced a couple of years ago. I know that they showed like a trailer last year, so at least we had more knowledge about this game than with Ronin, when it just went quiet after the first teaser. But yeah, this was a game that I was really looking forward to seeing more of because we didn't really get to see a lot. We knew it was coming. We saw a teaser trailer at the Game Awards a while back, and then, like I said, last year we saw our first look at gameplay, but it wasn't like proper raw gameplay. It was more of a here's what the game could look like sort of thing. But now this is the first time I'm actually seeing the project that is further along in development, a lot closer to what it will look like at release. And man, I must say I am impressed. This game looks amazing. Like I don't say this word lightly because there's a lot of amazing looking games, especially shown off this past week or two. But I really do think that this game is one of the best looking games I've seen this year. It just looks fantastic. The character models are so detailed, and I'm almost shocked that this is from Sega because Sega is a company that I love, and of course they're a company that made a lot of franchises like Sonic the Hedgehog, that's my favorite franchise, and also I've been looking into Yakuza, Jet Set Radio, Persona. Those games are really cool, but I will say like recently Sega have been just blowing me away in terms of visuals and presentation. I'm just not used to this level of quality from them when it comes to, like I said, the visuals and presentation. They're usually really good with their gameplay, but this is like the first time in a long time that I've seen them really push graphics, and the Virtua Fighter 6 looks really good. Like this game, the character designs are great. I put this up there with Street Fighter 6 and other like Unreal Engine games too. When it comes to graphics, like this game is really cool. But more than just the graphics, what really impressed me was the scope of the game. Because I knew that this was a fighting game, but what I did not know was in the story mode they were actually going to try to push it to be something more than just a fighting game. The story mode seems to be like an actual action game story mode, which isn't something that we're used to with fighting games. Usually fighting games are just that, and there's nothing wrong with them being just that, but I do believe that in this current era, as the games are evolving and people are becoming more and more I want to say the expectations of what a AAA game is goes higher and higher. It's getting harder and harder to sell a fighting game as just a game with characters that fight. You do need to put a bit more into it, and that's why Street Fighter 6 had World Tour mode and a major story mode, and this game seems to be doing something similar but to a greater extent. Like this looks like the next level, the future of fighting games now, because this story mode is not simply just a context where you have a series of fights, but an actual proper story that tries to build the world, at least according to what the developers have said, because I've watched the showcase and they've talked a lot about this story mode being a bigger deal. It's where this is like major single player content, so even if you're someone who's not super into the competitive side of fighting games, if you get this game, there's still a lot of content for you to enjoy. And yeah, like I said, it looks really ambitious, it looks really good, Again, really impressed with this one. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm glad we finally got to see a bit of gameplay. I still really need to see more, but not because I'm worried about the game. In fact, I'm already sold on the game. Like I said, it looks fantastic, but like just all the things they said, it's kind of hard for me to even really envision it. So that's why I want to see it so badly, because this really just sounds like such a big undertaking. And like I said, I think that this game will push fighting games in the next direction. This game will be the start of a lot of future fighting games making a name for themselves through their own identity, and not just being, a fighting game inspired of a Street Fighter or an anime fighter inspired of a Guilty Gear. This seems to be like carving its own identity, not just through its gameplay, but through its story and world building. And yeah, like all that just gets me really, really excited, because I was already looking forward to this game as just a fighting game, but now seeing that it's so much more than that. I'm interested in the characters now, I'm interested in the story, and yeah, that's really all I want to say. I don't want to stay too long on each game, because we do have a few games to go through, but this is definitely one that I'm keeping my eye on, and I hope that it really does come out as amazing as they're saying it will. Okay, so taking a step back a little bit, I want to actually talk about a game that was at the State of Play that was also a surprise. Maybe not for a long time, because it was leaked beforehand, but still a surprise when it was leaked. Like, this is something I was not expecting at all. Also, sorry if you're hearing any background noise here. Like, I don't know why this car decided to peek its horn. But anyway, Rayman Legends Retold. This game is a surprise to me. It is a surprise to me for multiple reasons, but it looks really good, and I want to talk about it. Okay, so Rayman Legends Retold, it surprised me first off because they did put out a game for Rayman already earlier this year. Granted, it wasn't a new game, but it was a collection. Well, no, it wasn't I think it was a remaster. Just a remaster. It was a remaster of, or port of the first Rayman game. And I was kind of disappointed when I heard that, because it is Rayman's anniversary, and I thought, maybe they're going to do something special. And when they showed that game off, I just thought, okay, Rayman is dead. This is it. We don't care. Like, why are they doing this? In my head, I'm thinking, okay, they're doing this to see people are still interested in Rayman before they started working on a new Rayman game. Little did I know, though, that they had so much more planned that same year. Well, this same year. And that is a remake of Rayman Legends. And the second reason why I'm surprised is because this is a remake of Rayman Legends. And Rayman Legends is not that old. It is old. It's... How old is it again? Okay, so it's almost 13 years old, and by the time this remake releases, it would have been 13 years old. So it is an old game, but not like that old. To me, I don't see a game as old until it hits the 15-year mark. And this game is close, but even then, its art style is just timeless. It's such a beautiful game. It's not a game that would have been held back or judged by its time, because it wasn't trying to push graphics in that sense. It wasn't using like the best of the hardware it could handle at the time, but rather it was just making a beautiful art style. It was a game that was hand-drawn, so that's not necessarily pushing machines in any way. So it's not like it would have aged very differently. It's like a classic Disney movie, like a hand-drawn movie that you go back to because it's beautiful, not because it's old. So yeah, it's like that. Like, that game still looks beautiful today, and I think it will continue to look beautiful for as long as we live on this earth, because the animations and the drawings and the art is just so great. Now, that being said, this remake looks beautiful. More beautiful than I ever could have imagined. Because when I heard that this game was getting a remake, I thought, well, what are they going to do? Are they going to just make new 2D art? Like, to me, I don't see them changing this. Well, they made it 3D. And here's the thing. I like the way it looks. Now there are things that I think that the original did better. For example, Rayman's design. I think if I were to just compare the two, I prefer the way he looks in the original Legends game. I just want to compare like certain things, like the way the characters glow and stand out. I think that Rayman Legends does a better job. But when it comes to pure presentation today, when it comes to the wow factor, I think Rayman Legends Retold just has that more. Not just because it's 3D graphics, but because similarly to Rayman Legends, it is still trying to establish a strong art style. And that, I think, is most important above all, because you can try and push graphics as much as you want, but unless you have a great art style, great art direction, it will age very quickly. And this game, I think, will age gracefully, because they're using the new technology to make a high-end, like, really beautiful, massive game. When it comes to the way it looks like a massively produced game, but they're not letting that dictate the art direction, but rather they're still trying to stay true to the original game that they are remaking. So big props to them, because this game looks beautiful. And what I love too is it's not just a remake, but they even added new content too, like new 3D sections, actually taking advantage of the 3D space, and new levels. So new content, more stuff to look forward to. Even though it's not a brand new Rayman game, there's still new content for players like me who played the original game already. So that is just awesome, and I'm really happy with this. It's not exactly what I thought, not exactly what I wanted. What I really wanted was a new Rayman game, and particularly a new fully 3D Rayman game. However, this is a pretty close second to what I was hoping for. I just really wanted Rayman to be back, and I'm so glad to see that he's back in such a big way. And I hope that this game does well, so we can see a proper sequel to Rayman 3D. I think that's what it was called, right? I hope I'm not saying the wrong name here, but the 3D games. I hope that we get a sequel to that, because yeah, I'm all for pushing this series forward, rather than letting it stay stagnant. So as much as I love the 2D games, I really want them to do something new in 3D, and yeah, hoping for the best there. Other than that, though, this game looks great. It is Rayman Legends again. That's already an amazing game. So with them remaking it, I expect this game to be nothing less than amazing, as long as they don't release it in a buggy state. And yeah, the presentation is great. There is a story this time. I forgot to mention that. And that is really cool. Because Rayman Legends didn't really have a story. Like, there were little things here and there to kind of give you an idea of what may have been going on, but it really was very classic in the way it was structured. Just go from level to level to achieve certain goals and get the character to progress through the world and so on. But to see they're actually making cutscenes and having voice acting and again, like I said, it really, really well produced, high quality looking animations here. I don't see how you could be disappointed as a Rayman fan. I mean, I'm sure you're disappointed that's not a new game, but just looking at this game, I'm really excited, and I hope that this is the future of Rayman. I hope it's not a Crash situation where they just do this, not a Crash, a Spyro situation, where they just do this one time and it looks like, oh, he's back, and then you get nothing several years until now, which is a perfect segue into the next game that I want to talk about, Spyro. Yeah, so Spyro: A Realm Beyond. This game, I don't know what to say on it yet, because it's just a CG trailer with a few seconds of gameplay. Whereas with the last Ronin, I had stuff to talk about because it was a developer that I was relatively familiar with, and also there was a whole story of the game development looking not so good. There were things to talk about. This, however, I'm not sure where to start, other than what took so long. What took so long? Reignited Trilogy was 7 years ago? 8 years ago? When did this game come out? I remember it came out around the same year as Crash Insane Trilogy, right? So that was 2017. We're looking at 9 years. 9 years. Let me double check that, because I really am kind of shocked just hearing myself say that. Okay, so I was a bit wrong on that. Not 9 years, 8 years. well, soon 8 years, because this game is not coming out this year. So by the time this next game releases, it's going to be 8 to 9 years since Reignited Trilogy. For now, it's almost 8 years since Reignited Trilogy, because that game, I believe, dropped in November of 2018. But still, that was a long time. And plus, Reignited Trilogy was a remake. It wasn't a new game. So they're similar to Crash fans, which I wasn't yet at the time. I am now. But, I assume that Crash fans were expecting, the same way they were expecting a new game, which they did eventually get Crash 4. Not too long after the N. Sane Trilogy. We were expecting a Spyro game after the Reignited Trilogy. Did not get that. Waited for more than 7 years just to hear that there's a new Spyro game coming out. Now, I am really happy though, because it is a new game. It is not a remake again. It is not a remaster. And it's not a Rayman situation. It's exactly what I would hope for with Spyro being back today, and that's a new game with a fresh new take on the character. Now, it is still Toys for Bob, which is the company that worked on the game before. I know they went indie recently, so I don't know if they still go under that name, but same developers. And you can tell, because it looks pretty similar to Reignited Trilogy and Crash 4. It looks beautiful though. I love their art style, and just by the way I talked about Rayman, I am huge on art direction and art style, but particularly stylized art directions, because I think those hold on longer. And Spyro, of course, is the perfect character for a stylized game. He's a purple fictional dragon that can fly and do cool stuff, while still looking like he could be pet or put into a plushie. So Spyro is back. I'm really happy about that. Again, nothing much to really say, because the trailer only showed it only showed him like running around and then flying in the air. I think we heard like a villainous laugh. I'm not sure who exactly that is. But new Spyro game. Great, really great. It's already garnering, I'm not saying that word. It's getting a lot of attention, and that is great to see. Because I feel that Spyro took this long to come back because maybe they thought these games aren't really what people want anymore. But clearly, with the reaction to Spyro's return, to Rayman's return, and even when the Clank game was released, new Sonic games, Mario games, people love these characters and they love these worlds, they love these games. And, even though there may be new games every year or new genres that dominate a certain period, that does not mean that there aren't fans for these kinds of games. And especially these games that were genre defining, like Spyro in the PlayStation era, like Crash. I'm so glad to see them back. Crash, I'm still waiting for that. We got Crash 4 a few years ago, but, I'm still looking out for that guy. But great to see Spyro back nonetheless. I hope this game is amazing. You see they are going into flying now, which is great because he does have wings and he should use them. So, that's awesome. I'm really looking forward to this game to see what they do with it. And breathe some life, breathe some fire back into Spyro. Okay, so I had a bit of a hard time deciding what game I wanted to talk about last. So before I talk about that last game, I do want to give some honorable mentions by quickly mentioning other games that got me really excited. Stellar Blade BloodRayne looks really cool. Reminds me of Alita Battle Angel and why am I blanking on the name right now? Ghost in the Shell, that's right. It reminded me of that. I wasn't really very into the first Stellar Blade. I didn't play it, nor was I that interested in it. I just wasn't really, I wasn't really captured by the characters or the world. But this game here looks more interesting. I still don't know if I'm fully sold on it, but the combat looks really good, really fast paced, and I think it's just going to be a really, really cool action game. How good it will be, well, we'll have to see when it comes out. But at least from what they showed, it looks really cool, looks really interesting. Persona 4 Revival, that game was shown up recently. That looks awesome. I don't know a lot about Persona 4 story-wise, but I do know about the characters because I played Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle. That was a fighting game that came out several years ago, like 2018, and it had those characters there because they were in a game that came out before, Persona 4 Arena, and given that they were published by Arc System Works, they kind of collaborated there and brought them into the BlazBlue crossover game. So yeah, I know them from that. Don't know much about the story, but I am a fan of just the way Atlus games are. Persona 5 I do know a bit more about, and I love the way those games look. And I have played a bit of Metaphor, a bit of Persona 3 Reload. So yeah, this new game looks just as good, if not better, than the games they've been putting out. And Persona 6 was teased as well, so that's really, really big. Can't wait to see more of that. And lastly, Zelda Ocarina of Time. That was at the Nintendo Direct. Oh, actually, no, not lastly. Also, Kingdom Hearts 4 was shown there. Finally. Looks great. Both games look well, I can't say both games look fantastic. Kingdom Hearts 4 looks fantastic. I'm not sure about Ocarina of Time yet because we haven't seen any gameplay, but if it's anything like the OG, but just with a new coat of paint and added things that modernizes it to match up today's standards, it should be another fantastic Zelda game in the library of fantastic Zelda games. All right. So the last game I wanted to talk about was Crazy Taxi. That game, one of Sega's titles. Also, I have mentioned a few of them here today. Virtua Fighter, Persona 4, Persona 6, Crazy Taxi. I am a huge Sega fan. I know if you've been following the channel recently, I've been uploading Dragon Ball videos, and I'm a huge fan of Dragon Ball, but I'm also a huge fan of Sega. And that's why my profile picture is Sonic. That's why videos before my latest series were on Sonic. He's one of my favorite characters, and Sega is one of my, maybe not favorite companies, but a company that I know pretty well. So those games matter a lot to me. Crazy Taxi being back is awesome because I didn't get to experience Crazy Taxi, when it released on the Dreamcast and, whatever came after, because there wasn't much that came after. It's been a long time, and I'm so glad to see it back because I really wanted to jump into Crazy Taxi, but I also wanted to kind of, be more modern, be a new thing, something that people are talking about in a big way, because I do believe Sega has a lot of great IPs that if they had just kept holding on to them, they would be even bigger than they already are, but better late than never. And yeah, this game looks crazy, pun entirely intended. Like, the racing looks super fast, the driving is insane, the graphics are beautiful, the music, I know that the Offspring played a big role of the soundtrack for the original game, and to hear them play that song again for this new trailer gets me excited. I don't know if they'll be doing any new music, but at the very least, if the soundtrack is anything like the original, it should be a great pop. And yeah, I'm just really looking forward to that game because, that's part of the Sega Power Surge titles, and a lot of these characters I really liked, but I just didn't get a chance to really experience them. Now that I have a PC and everything, I can, go back and check out those older games, through whatever means that I can. But I really wanted to get into them like this, with Sega bringing them back, and it looks great. I don't have too much to say on it right now, but from the gameplay I've seen, it looks fast-paced, it looks very arcade-like, very much still keeps the true energy of Crazy Taxi, but in a new modern look, in a new visual aesthetic. It is going for almost photorealism with the environments, but still stylized when it comes to the character designs, and I kind of like that. Contrast, or juxtaposition or whatever when it comes to that look. And so yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It looks really fun, and I think that's all I have to really say on these games, at least for now. And I'll be following them very closely. And if there's any big news that comes out, then maybe I'll post another discussion video talking about these games again. But that's what I really wanted to talk about. If you made it this far into the video though, which is pretty much the end of the video, leave a like, subscribe, comment. I think you like this video because you've been watching me for a while. This video has not been short, and I won't take up much more of your time. However, for those who have been following the channel, I do have a small update for you all. And even if you're new to the channel, maybe you might want to listen in because this talks about the future. So it has been a few days since I've uploaded my Dragon Ball Fighter series. Usually I've been trying to upload 3 episodes weekly. However, for the last week I have not. Part of that was because of all the gaming news going on. I was kind of figuring out if I wanted to do a discussion video or if I wanted to continue. I think what I want to do is change things up a little bit. Still keep the series going on, but for Dragon Ball FighterZ specifically, Road to Living Legend is gonna hit some changes, I think. It's something I was thinking about as I started, wondering if this was the best route to go. And I'm thinking that for Dragon Ball FighterZ, I'm gonna have one more video dedicated to that game, where dedicated to Road to Living Legend. But after that, I'm gonna start a rebooted series in a way, where instead of calling it Road to Living Legend, the series will basically be covering each rank that I'm in. So for example, right now we are in Supreme Kai. The next rank is Demon rank. So I think after episode 7, if we are not ranked up yet, then this new series will be Road to Demon rank. And then after we get to that rank, it'll be Road to the next rank and the next rank. I think that's a much more achievable goal. And also that way I can feel a bit more accomplishment in completing a given series. Whereas Road to Living Legend is going to be quite a ways away, and I want it, considering that it's still a relatively young channel in its videos, I don't want to put too much pressure on a given series. So yeah, I think instead of doing just straight Road to Living Legend, I'm going to break it up into different ranks, so that way I can hit more goals and also not put as much pressure on Living Legend, because that is like I said, a ways away. The next thing is I want to do more videos, more types of videos. Along with the new name for Dragon Ball FighterZ, which you will see eventually, I will be cutting down the videos. Instead of it being 3 Dragon Ball FighterZ videos a week, I think I'm just going to drop it to 2. And I'm going to have that 3rd day for movie reviews. Movies is another thing I'm really passionate about, and I've written reviews on movies myself, for just fun and for the viewing of my friends and family, but I want to try and put it to the next level and start building an archive of movie reviews here on YouTube. So I'm thinking Mondays. Sounds like a good day to review a movie, because Movie Review Mondays sounds like a good name. I'm workshopping it, don't know if that'll be the final thing, but yeah, I'm thinking Mondays is going to be movie review days. And when it comes to the new Dragon Ball FighterZ episodes, I don't want to say if it's going to be Wednesdays and Fridays anymore. I will confirm it when I upload the next episode, but I'm thinking maybe instead of having defined days, maybe I can just try and put out 2 episodes a week. That way, if I miss a day or 2, I'm not under pressure thinking, oh well, now I need to upload the following day, but instead I can upload the next day if I want to. Or maybe I'll say, you know what, I won't upload for the weekend till Thursday and Friday. I want to have a bit more freedom with that. And lastly, I want to kind of have the weekends as a on and off sort of thing. Not a defined day of videos or not, but sometimes if I decide to upload on a weekend, it'll be like this, a discussion video talking about a topic, whether it's games, movies, a project I'm working on, whatever that might be. I want to leave the weekends open for that. And yeah, that's kind of the update I have for you guys. So thanks for sticking around to hear the update. You will find out more about what actually happens when I start uploading again next week. But for now, enjoy this little weekend video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.